What if I told you the smartest student in an elite Nigerian boarding school wasn't sitting in a classroom? He was scrubbing dirty pots in the kitchen. Every night, after everyone went to sleep, this 12-year-old orphan secretly covered the classroom floor with mathematical equations using nothing but burnt charcoal. The morning he was finally caught, everyone thought his life was over. Instead, it became the day that changed his destiny forever. This is the incredible story of the boy who wrote his future with charcoal. The Harmattan dust never truly leaves the hills of Enugu. It settles over the red dirt and the concrete walls of Jude's Elite Academy, a prestigious boarding school where the wealthiest families from Lagos, Ibadan, and Anambra sent their children to learn how to rule the country. But hidden beneath the prestige was a boy no one believed in, a 12-year-old orphan named Chidi. While the rich students slept peacefully under their mosquito nets, Chidi's night was only beginning. It is a Tuesday morning during the midterm examinations when everything changes. The school principal, Mr. Benedict, is a strict man of rigid order. He firmly believes the world is divided into two types of people, those who are born to think, and those who are born to scrub. That morning, Chidi made a fatal mistake. Exhausted from working through the night, he fell fast asleep on the classroom floor before he could wipe his drawings away. At 6 in the morning, Principal Benedict walks into the classroom and freezes. The entire concrete floor is covered. Millions of mathematical symbols, derivatives, and intricate geometric proofs stretch from one wall to the other like a black river of genius. But the principal does not see a genius. He sees vandalism. He sees a kitchen boy defiling school property. He grabs Chidi by his faded collar, dragging him off the floor before the boy is even fully awake. He shouts loudly, summoning the security guards and the kitchen staff. He wants to make an example out of him. A poor kitchen boy has ruined a classroom, and he will be disgraced and thrown out of the school compound before breakfast. Chidi does not cry. He has learned very early that crying wastes energy. But the universe is finally paying attention, because this exact Tuesday is the day of the National Education Inspection. Walking down the corridor is Professor Emmanuel, one of the greatest mathematical minds in Nigeria, representing the National Scholarship Board. Hearing the shouting, the professor steps into the classroom. He looks at the principal. Then, his eyes drop to the floor. Professor Emmanuel stops dead in his tracks. He walks slowly across the room, staring at the charcoal equations with absolute disbelief. The entire room goes dead silent. The professor turns to the principal and speaks in a quiet, shaking voice. Mr. Benedict, this formula on your floor is a famously unsolved problem from the University of Ibadan's advanced seminar. My own graduating students could not solve it last month. This boy has not only solved it, he did it using a shortcut method I have never seen in any international textbook. The principal's mouth drops open. Professor Emmanuel walks up to Chidi, looking at his ash-stained hands and his worn-out clothes. The National Merit Scholarship examination is in 3 weeks, the professor says firmly. This boy will sit for it. I will personally sponsor his entry. The National Examination Hall in Lagos is the most intimidating room Chidi has ever stepped into. The ceilings are high, the fans are spinning, and the hall is filled with the children of ministers, governors, and elite businessmen. They arrived in air-conditioned SUVs from Ibadan and Anambra, wearing perfectly ironed uniforms, carrying expensive designer school bags. Chidi arrives on foot. His shirt is faded. His slippers are worn down to the rubber. His fingernails still carry the faint gray stain of charcoal that no amount of soap can wash away. The whispers from the other students start immediately. Did a mechanic boy wander into the wrong hall? They mock. Chidi ignores them. He finds his seat at the very back. He sits down, folds his hands, and breathes. The exam papers are placed face down. When the timer starts, the hall fills with the sound of flipping pages and the relaxed confidence of rich students who have had private tutors since primary school. Chidi turns his paper over. He doesn't hesitate. He doesn't pause. He simply begins to write. A strange silence falls over the back of the hall. 20 minutes later, the exam supervisor notices that while other students are sweating, scratching their heads, and erasing mistakes, Chidi's hand is moving across the booklet with absolute, terrifying speed. It is continuous, focused, unstoppable energy. By the halfway mark, the wealthy student sitting next to him stops writing completely. He is just staring at Chidi in absolute shock. By the final bell, Chidi has answered every single question, including an elite university-level bonus problem that the examiners added just as a formality. The grading takes 2 long weeks. The results are published nationally on the board. First place in the federation, Chidi. Total score, a perfect, historic 100%. The entire education board goes wild. The news spreads across the country. A boy from the fires of Enugu had broken every record in the nation. Chidi sits quietly in his small room and listens to the radio broadcast. He does not smile yet. That is for later. 20 years pass. Nigeria has changed. Digital technology booms in Lagos, new skyscrapers pierce the skyline, and massive financial empires rise from the oil and tech sectors. And Chidi has built a significant piece of that new world. His name sits on major real estate portfolios, his software logistics systems run supply chains across West Africa, and he has turned down national honors from the government because he has no use for political titles. He is wealthy beyond anything a 12-year-old boy in worn-out slippers could have ever dreamed of. But he has one final piece of business to settle in Enugu. On a bright Harmattan morning, a luxury black vehicle pulls up outside the old St. Jude's Academy. The school had gone completely bankrupt 2 years prior due to massive mismanagement. The elderly former principal, Mr. Benedict, had been forced to liquidate the property to pay off crushing bank debts. He did not know who bought the land. The transaction was handled quietly through lawyers in Lagos. He finds out today. Chidi steps out of the vehicle. He is wearing a flawless, custom-tailored traditional attire. His hands are clean and manicured. They have been clean for many years, but he has never forgotten what the soot felt like under his nails. Mr. Benedict stands at the gated entrance. When he looks at Chidi's face, a sudden shock of recognition flashes in his eyes. Chidi does not insult him. He does not humiliate him. The empty, decaying school buildings do all the talking. Chidi walks through the silent corridors until he reaches the mathematics room, the exact spot where he once slept in his own charcoal drawings. He turns to his team of architects and project managers waiting behind him and gives his clear instructions. Demolish the old warden gates, rebuild the entire campus, triple the size of the laboratory, build a state-of-the-art library, and expand the kitchen to feed every student 3 times a day for free. And above the main entrance, carve this single sentence into the stone wall for the brilliant minds the world forgot to look at. The Global Hustle-Free Academy opens the following year. It charges 0 naira in tuition. It accepts only orphans, the children of local laborers, street vendors, and struggles from the slums. Children who possess that rare, burning hunger that only comes from being told their entire lives that success belongs to someone else. On the opening day, Chidi stands alone in the newly built mathematics hall. The morning sun pours beautifully through the glass windows. He reaches into his pocket, pulls out a single, rough piece of black charcoal, and places it gently on the teacher's desk, not as decoration, but as a reminder that the most unstoppable force in any society is a poor child with a brilliant mind and just enough darkness to write their way out. The world tried to sweep Chidi into the ash. Instead, he built the fire that lit up the entire nation.